Welcome everybody to our daily Sacred Self and Energy update for week 52/2 called Oh Come On, covering the time from the 24th of December today. Merry Christmas to all of you until the 31st of December 2021. It's good to see you guys all live. My name is Jona Bryndis and I'm an energy healer and energy coach, guiding you through these collective energies. Yeah, we have the tradition to meditate and discuss these collective energies here together as self-identified, energetically sensitives, empaths from all over the world. I see Colorado mountains. Yes, I'm envying you, Brian. I see Denmark. Beautiful to have you guys here, and especially in times like this where there are so many differences in how we are perceiving our reality right now, that it feels very empowering and I want to say almost mind-opening to have you guys all here as witnesses. I could record those energy updates and energy tips without you, but I prefer doing this with live audience, even though it's way more challenging for me to deal with all the live stuff and so forth. So the reason for that being is that I have you right here and that we can go into direct feedback with another. Yes, Merry Christmas back to Ohio. Thank you, Cheryl. Wonderful to see all of you here. So these week's energies and the last days of this year, I've announced them to be sort of a showdown energy. They culminate and summarize the whole entire year of 2021. If you've watched the forecast for January 22 already, it's on my YouTube channel, you already got a good feeling as to where this is leading now. And if you go a little further back, a year ago I did a forecast for the 3 years of transition, 21, 22 and 23, and all these things that I have prognosticized, forecasted, they are still valid, and it gives you a little better overview of where we are at on this timeline of global transformation. So we got 1 year down, the worst year, the year of confusion, the year of, letting go of our attachment to the past and the attachment to the uncertainty of the future. It has now become reality. We are now in the middle of it, which means there's no denying that there were challenges here. We all had to go through them, and in this last week I hope that you guys were able to get past this really, really strong emotional energy, almost like a gut punch type of energy that completely caught you off guard and that pulled you into the deepest abyss, I want to say, of your own fears, of your own grief, of your own pain in some of your guys' cases, maybe through the loss of something, maybe through the fear of something. In many of our countries, there's a fear of losing your job, there's a fear of losing a loved one, there's a fear of simply not being able to sustain the life that we have built so far. Can really, really pull us low. The overall condition that we're in, and this was basically the theme of 2021, is a confrontation with untruth. So from a spiritual, energetic point of view, we had to learn how to actually light up, how to make the unconscious conscious. And here in these last week of the year, we get all the stuff that we have basically sort of pushed away, that we didn't want to deal with, that we couldn't process yet, that we couldn't really face, sort of percolating up to the surface, and suddenly we have to deal with it. And yes, happy Christmas Eve to you too, Cindy. It's wonderful. All of you guys are in different time zones, so some of you are maybe in the middle of your Christmas celebrations. Maybe some of you have already got this behind them, and some of you may just not go with those holidays because you realize that giving and showing gratitude and all this is pertinent to our way of living, and not particular dates that our calendar prescribes us to do this at. I have sent out quite a few write-ups here about these new energies that are coming in, and the importance of the solstice energies around this time of the year. And really the biggest aspect of this for our personal transformation is to recognize that this bringing the unconscious or making the unconscious conscious is basically a confrontation with our own ego, with our own shadow. And when I say things percolating to the surface, when I say that things need to be illuminated, we can, from an energetic point of view, talk about healing. We can talk about enlightening something, putting something into the light of truth. But subjectively, it does not always feel very comfortable when we have to go through this. So be assured that you are not the only one who is going through this right now, and the area where this feels particularly almost like draining is the area of our most intimate relationships, our children, our family, our best friends, and our partners. All right, so this is basically the trajectory here for this next week, guys, because when these things that we have been pushed into the background, or when we've locked them up, or when we have gone to lengths to avoid addressing them, when they need to come forward, they will. And this is the time now where you will be shown all these things that maybe that you have smooth talked or brushed over or justified in front of yourself. And I can assure you that this is leading you into a higher vibration, because everything that you are keeping locked up from yourself ultimately drains your energy. So it is an illusion that when we put things aside, or when we try to cope things away, if you will, that it doesn't affect our energy. And this is why so many of you are confused. You don't understand why you are drained, why you are so tired. And the reason is, this is very beautifully visible from an energetic point of view, is because there is something that you are not wanting to deal with. There is something you're resisting within. And sometimes resisting has to do with just simply not wanting it, or not wanting to accept the reality of it. Yeah, so for example, we are in a situation here that I guess is okay to be called a global crisis. The disturbing or disruptive event was sold to us as being the COVID pandemic. But if we look at what the ramifications of this crisis really are, we're seeing different things. We're seeing changes in our society that nobody would have thought possible in the 21st century. Yeah, tendencies that could I guess, be called totalitarian in some of our countries, yeah, where we have to show passports, where we have to do certain things to be eligible to live or to buy groceries or to meet our friends and family. Those are things, guys, that have happened here in these last nearly 2 years now under our noses. We have silently agreed to them. And this is now becoming aware to us. And I'm not saying this with a political opinion or agenda in the back of my mind. I'm saying this as an energy healer. Yeah, I'm reminding you of what it actually is that drains you. All of a sudden, you have to prove that you have the right to exist, the right to socialize, the right to connect with other people, the right to eat, the right to be. That's a massive attack on your feeling safe and feeling belonging. This is an attack on your first and seventh chakra, yeah, through the collective field that we all sort of carry around in our total sort of energy body. Yeah, it's the part that places us into this collective here, into the here and now. And it's sometimes difficult to see the purpose of it when faced with such untruths and faced with such adversities. And I guess that's something that has been weaving through all our history of humankind. Yeah, every generation had sort of their doom, their apocalypse, their adversity to deal with. And for us, it's really now time to recognize that when we are placed in a certain situation, that there is a part of us that has chosen that. A part of us wanted to be in the here and now, wanted to go through this experience in order to, and this is basically the part that you need to become more aware of now, be it in regards to your job, in regards to yourself, your personal transformation, your personal growth, and your relationships, in order to what? Many of you find yourself in a sort of karmic repeat Groundhog Day situation, and that is what's draining you, because you're not actually moving forward. You're still resisting that which is at hand. And now you might ask, what is at hand? And obviously, when you go into this more mindful consciousness place with yourself, you recognize that, well, yeah, I mean, you know, the physical conditions that you have, yeah, the inner, you know, your own body and your health, and, you know, the weather and the people and, you know, the money and housing and so forth, they do play a role. But are those really the ones that you need to be prioritizing? Are those the ones that can help you to get past, say, karmic restrictions that you have been feeling, or karmic tasks, yeah, such as childhood trauma, such as, you know, things that really has been weaving through your life as a hidden or invisible agenda, namely in form of trying to avoid a certain kind of confrontation? Or am I being placed into this situation in order to face it, in order to get past it, in order to learn how to resolve it, so that we can move out of this sort of predisposed karmic setup? Yeah, the karmic setup that we have is basically the guarantee that we will encounter those tasks in our lifetime, and the purpose of that is so that we can move past it. So I want to, you know, just let you guys all know why I can talk about these things with a smile on my face, because once you become aware of it, it becomes so simple. Yeah, The reason why we experience adversity is so that we can move into our own authority, into our conscious awareness. And whatever the New Age and spiritual talk is, guys, not all of it is real, okay? So we have to understand that things such as enlightenment, or even those terms such as ascension, yeah, that are basically referring to personal growth, that they have to do with facing all the untruths in our life. And so to all of you out there who still believe that ascension is, all waterfalls and unicorns, and that, we're all going to move into 5D or whatever you want to call this without having to do anything, because that's basically where we are being pulled into, I have some news for you. All right, the truth is we are being pulled into this, but 99% of the people aren't really going to do it. Okay, that means that enlightenment, yeah, this awakening, yeah, that everybody talks about, that I've been writing about for years, yeah, this global awakening is really one of a harsh awakening. It is awakening to truth, and awakening to truth, guys, is, if you think about it in your own life, the very thing that you have been resisting the most. The very thing that all your coping mechanisms and all your cognitive dissonances and all your ruminating and all your emotional projecting and all your entitlement and all the things that you idealize and that you want, be it the soulmate, which is nothing but the desire to be over with the search. Yeah, it's a shortcut way of thinking. Yeah, it's because you don't really want to face the adversity of relationship. You want to find your soulmate and it's your destiny, and then you want to what? Stop working on yourself, because now that you have found a partner, you don't need to work on yourself anymore. Guys, that's not how this goes. It's the same with your vocation, with your job. Yeah, you're waiting for somebody to offer you something, or you're waiting for somebody to give you validation for what you are good at. That's not how this goes. Your vocation is what you are being pulled into. It is basically your power that you are being shown through all the things that you consciously manifest. And when you unconsciously manifest, when you allow yourself to go on autopilot, because it is the easier way, yeah, because you don't really have to face any of your untruths. If you're suffering from imposter syndromes, or I'm not good enough, or the world is so mean to me, then you have not yet awakened. Because the truth is that nobody can do this for you. It cannot come from the outside. It is nobody else's responsibility but yours. And that is, sorry for this, that is what awakening is. Awakening to the responsibility that you have toward yourself, and the promise that you made to yourself, your higher self, and the divine, to evolve into your highest expression. And every single time you try to bail out, or sugarcoat, or cope things away, you are violating your own promise. You're letting yourself down. And what you experience as a karmic repeat is nothing but your resistance toward finally facing it. Whether it is your physical health, your financial health, your emotional health, your relationships, your deeper connections, your intellectual health, yeah, your spiritual health, or your energetic health and well-being. That is your responsibility. And every study that has ever been done what makes people... Sorry guys, we have a new puppy. Yes, that's her. And she's creating a little bit of a stir up here, I think, for our old dog that has also created a new reality. We have called it Karma is a Bitch, because when our old dog was that little, he was a terror for my other old dogs who are no longer with us. So yes, our tiny 12-week-old bitch, her name is Friar, is paying back. Okay, and here is the karmic cycle that is repeating for my dogs in a very, very healthy and beautiful way. But the point that I was trying to make is that every study that was shown, that was done on what makes people happy, is the moderate and consistent overcoming of adversity, forming resilience through facing things step by step. So what does this mean now in regards to collective energies here in this last week? I've already reported about the incoming week energies in January. Please go to the video there. It means that we're going to have to face a certain reality, namely that Omicron, or oh come on, is raging through our societies here like a wildfire. And you've heard me say this perhaps before. From a scientific standpoint, this strain is actually a blessing in disguise. Yeah, and this is research based, guys. It is so transmissible that it is practically impossible not to get infected. But the good news about it is that it is so mild that it doesn't actually attack your lungs in the way that the alpha, beta, and delta strains did. Yeah, so that it mainly stays in your throat and your bronchi, which allows people to get past it faster. It's also a shorter incubation time. And if they haven't yet, they will also lower the quarantine time with Omicron simply because it goes through you faster. It's almost indiscriminable from a common cold. Yeah, and let's remember that all coronaviruses are cold viruses. Okay, so it helps us to overcome our fear. If you have not had COVID and built natural immunity yet, if you are vaccinated or unvaccinated, doesn't matter. You most likely have to face that reality that COVID is becoming endemic, meaning that it's going to be part of our human virome, okay? It's going to be part of what we are experiencing seasonally. And this isn't anything that we need to worry about, simply because we have multiple of these viruses that come to us every year. Yeah, and I hate to compare it with other viruses such as the flu or such as the RSV or any of these other cold viruses that we are all too familiar with, and we have never really thought about it. So in our mind, this doesn't have to be a disruptive event, but you know, the virus itself from here on, okay? I'm not denying that the virus is real, that the disease, the symptoms can be life-threatening. Obviously, those are facts. Yeah, but there are aspects to this now with these new developments, the new strain, that take away this fear of dying. Yeah, I think it's pretty safe to predict to you that at least half of you here listening to me right now will get Omicron within the next 3 to 4 weeks, and you'll be fine. You will be fine. Yeah. But what you will realize instead is that the true disruptive events aren't really the symptoms and, you know, the stuff that comes with getting sick, but all these other things that have already happened in our society. How our lives have been restricted, our relationships, how we are now literally standing in front of major decisions such as, can I even celebrate Christmas with my family? these are things that we need to awaken to. And that awakening, guys, is not going to go easy. People are not going to take this for much longer. Okay? So please understand that when I talk about unrest and protests and things like this, and if you would like to follow some of that, the sort of worldwide occurrence here of protests and so on, go to my forum. There is a neutral reporting there. I post studies, I post reports from all over the world that give us a bit more sort of global perspective on things. So, excuse me for the commotion here, but that's something that you will probably also experience here in these next months, and that is a lot of distraction. So what is my energy tip for you in the midst of all of this? Yes, obviously stay away from mainstream media reporting. And what I mean when I talk about mainstream media reporting, I'm talking about skimming your news and so forth. Because what you will see there is a certain narrative. And that narrative will soon, to be precise, here sort of in 3-4 weeks' time, experience a 180-degree turn. Okay, so whatever it is that you're seeing there in regards to global developments will be the opposite in 4 weeks. Okay, so if you need news, then please get yourselves the right keywords and search for it yourself. Yeah, find maybe YouTubers that report about in a neutral way about what the current situation is from a scientific point of view, and stay steadfast. As for your own dealing with this adversity, dealing with, potentially contracting COVID, okay, there is a lot of things that we can do, and this is a part of where we have been brainwashed, where we have been mind controlled to be thinking that once we test positive, we're doomed, we're going to die, or we have to go to the emergency room. I had a client here this last week that tested positive and who was upset and confused because he didn't know what to do. The doctor refused, his practitioner refused to treat him and sent him to the ER, even though he didn't have any major symptoms. Okay, and this is something that I see a lot here, is this a fear, okay, that if you look at the larger picture, yeah, where hospitals are complaining about emergency rooms overflowing, mostly because doctors aren't really allowed to treat COVID patients, yeah, COVID symptoms. And that's something you need to overcome in your head. Okay, just because you're testing positive doesn't mean anything. You might be one of the 70% that are completely asymptomatic. You might not even know, yeah, that you have had COVID. All right, and those of you who are experiencing symptoms, yeah, do the things that you have already known about your own self-healing. Yeah, strengthen your immune system. I have been reporting about this now for nearly 2 years. Vitamin D, vitamin C, zinc, yeah, chaga tea, or any other antiviral herbs. There's tons of them out there. If you don't want to take this advice from me, take it from a naturopathic doctor, or go to my forum where there's doctors from all over the world talking about early treatment and prevention protocols for COVID. There is no need for you to be afraid. So the reason why I'm saying this to you in such a direct manner is because once you face that fear, you will experience something, and that will help you to resolve your fogginess and your lack of clarity. What is really torturing you is the fear of the fear. Is the fear of facing the unknown. And you know why people that are really happy in their lives are happy? Because they have learned to face the fear of the unknown. And from a spiritual point of view, that is confirmed. Darkness is the fear of the unknown. And guess what darkness, if you want to personify it, produces in us? That exact fear. So your job here, karmically or practically, physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, energetically, no matter how you look at it, is to face your fear so that you can experience yourself as fearless, so that you can experience how your connection with your own light, with your own courage, with your own self-authority can drive out fear. How the light wins over dark. When we talk about awakening, when we talk about enlightenment, we talk about you recognizing the light in you. And that's something only you can do. Nobody else can do this for you. I can talk all day long. I can do all these programs, sessions, coaching, lectures, workshops, courses to help you understand it better. But the choice to choose your own light, the courage to allow yourself to experience that needs to come from you. And anyone who consciously chooses this, who voluntarily chooses this, will no longer and never ever be fooled by the dark again. And anyone who waits till you're being forced to look at truth will have a positive experience of relief and hopefully contextualize it as a valuable learning experience, as a growth. If you experience it as victimhood, if you contextualize it as something was done to you, then you may miss out on this karmic task and you might end up re-experiencing it in other ways. And if you refuse to take on your karmic task, then you will end up feeling like a never-ending karmic repeat, like a hamster wheel. You will experience the same fear over and over again. And the significance now here for the end of the year in regards to your relationships, whether you have a partner or not, is irrelevant, is that you go and face that which you have been running away from. Whether it is the deeper connection and intimacy, whether it is learning how to trust in yourself, or learning how to fall in love with your own soul, with yourself, on whichever level that comes forward for you. Mark my words. This will be an extremely important time for you to learn about yourself and to face that which you, from your core, have been running away from. So this is a very, very important time for relationships. And you've probably seen this already. I've taken this directly into my hands and created a 3-month training course for individuals and couples who want to learn how to build relationships based on truth, based on, basically enlightenment from within. And what this means, how this affects the interaction with other people, how this affects our communication, how we need to learn to put our physical, emotional, mental, spiritual, and energetic resistances and growth tasks into perspective with our relationship. To all of you out there who have been questioning whether you'd ever find a partner that is speaking the same language as you, or that is interested in the same things as you, or that is able or willing to be in truth with you, I have good news. I happen to know this firsthand because all of my clients are that way. There's plenty of people out there. The one thing though that you guys haven't realized is that we were all in hiding. We had to hide because we didn't fit in. In the future, you guys are going to be the ones that other people look to. You are being the ones that others will find. And so the part that you need to overcome now is the fear of coming out of the woodwork. You have to be okay with who you are. You have to be okay with being energetically sensitive or being an empath. Not proud, not special. You have to be okay with it and recognize that this is your true power and that you had decades of training in this now. So the last bit you need to overcome is your childhood trauma of having been rejected, haven't been punished, or haven't really been validated as empath or as energetically sensitive person when you were a child. These times are over now, guys. It's a different time now. It's the time where you are the strong one and everybody else has to go through this sudden awakening, this harsh awakening in light speed without being able to emotionally, psychologically, or energetically understand what is going on. You guys are the experts now. So to all of you who have been feeling this calling into wanting to be of assistance to others, you guys need to understand that this is the time that you have been waiting for. This is now the time to step into putting yourself out there. You just have to let go of all the specialness that you've developed over the last decades, all this new age woo-woo around it, and just see it as a human skill. A skill to understand what energies are and how they affect you and how you can train this. You guys had to learn it, and now you can help others, and by helping others, you are stepping into your own higher learning. So higher learning is what I have dedicated myself to 20 years ago, and since then I can assure you I have helped thousands of people to get into this place of understanding energies, not from this woo-woo perspective, but from a consciousness training perspective. And this is basically what is happening now. So the next 2 years are still basically this transition time for our entire societies. And this is your time now. This is the best time for anyone who feels this calling and this entrepreneurial impulse, all right, to be one of the first who are not afraid to step out with this and say, I'm an energy healer. I'm a consciousness trainer. I'm an energy coach. This is what I do. I help you understand your own energy better and how to manage it. All right, so this is my pep talk here for the last week of 21. Okay, guys, I apologize for the barking in the background. If you don't want to fall for the barking in your backgrounds, in your circumstances, in your collectives, okay, then use this time to go within. Use this time to connect with the people that you care for the most. Connect with what is most important for you and set the right priorities. Stop being so ADHD. Stop that mind control mechanism, that hijacks your attention. Remember, your energy is of value. Your energy is a resource. And the way your energy is being hijacked is through your attention. So all of you ADHD people out there, which includes myself, recognize that you not being able to focus on something, is part of the mind control, and that is what you need to claim back. That's my energy tip for you here for this next week. Connect with what truly matters to you, what makes you feel loved, what makes you feel emotionally safe, and stop being so ADHD. Put your smart devices aside. Turn off your notifications. And as your daily sacred self, opportunity to do this with me firsthand and to experience this inner connection, I want to share the energy alignment for January 22 with you. It's called New Values. It's a 20-minute energy meditation that we will do together now live. To all of you who are in my newsletter list, you already received the download link. If you would like to download this, then please sign up for my email, and you will get this every month with all the articles that I write about current energies and so forth. If you are interested in any of the programs and courses that I have, then please be advised that my website is being renewed right now, and you will have to email me at Jona at transcodes.com, to set this up with me for all the courses that are coming up here in these next weeks. Please email me, Jona at transcodes.com. Merry Christmas to all of you guys. Thank you for your beautiful post. Thank you for your loyalty. Remember, this Daily Sacred Self channel is free for everyone. You can share it to anyone. We have multiple online meditations going on here a day right now. We have the 12 days of Sacred Self on top of our Sacred Self meditations. So if you don't know what to do, what to listen to, or feel bored or would like to connect deeper with like-minded, then just come here and check what's going on. And if nothing is going on, then go to the transCODES YouTube channel. There's over 600 YouTube videos there that I have recorded, lectures, workshops, tips, and so forth that will help you to connect deeper within. I'm wishing you wonderful holidays, and remember, if you have to face your fear, the easiest way to do this is to actually do it. And if you need support, then reach out to others. The most important power that we all have, being there for another. Love you guys. Thank you for your loyalty, dear audience. See you again next week. Bye-bye.